Welcome to the only daily podcast focusing on compliance news of the day. Each morning, start your day with a cup of coffee and Tom Fox, the voice of compliance, to hear about 4 of the top compliance, corruption, or leadership stories you will need to start your day. The Daily Compliance News is a production of the Compliance Podcast Network.
First, a word from our sponsor. The Daily Compliance News for March 16, 2023, the Sell or Else edition. And we begin with that story from the Wall Street Journal, which reports that the U.S. has threatened to ban TikTok in the United States if its Chinese owners don't sell the stakes. TikTok says the forced sale won't resolve national security issues, and the CEO of TikTok is scheduled to appear before Congress next week. But the Biden administration announced today it was demanding that the Chinese owners sell or face a ban. So, sell or else. Next up, the former head of CitiGroup's sprawling institutional clients group had his pay trimmed after Citi was fined $200 million in penalties over employees' use of unauthorized messaging channels such as WhatsApp. Citigroup made a downward adjustment to Paco Ybarra's pay, citing cultural issues that arose in his division, which require remediation. The pay cut stems from the messaging issue, said a person with knowledge. The pay cut went from only $18.9 million to $18.4 million. So the Citigroup has finally taken the DOJ's admonitions around compensation and incentives to do business ethically and in compliance to heart. Next up, the Wells Fargo false account scandal continues to resonate as the former head of the retail bank is facing prison time after agreeing to plead guilty to obstructing a bank examination in relation to the phony account scandal that has roiled the bank since 2016. Carrie Tolstedt faces up to 16 months in prison under a plea agreement with federal prosecutors. The development marks a very rare instance in where a senior bank official is facing prison time as a result of their actions here, illegal actions. So maybe finally a little justice for somebody at Wells Fargo. It's also going to be interesting to see what testimony, if any, she will give against her fellow executives who have not yet pled out. And our final story comes to us from ESPN, where Morant, the very troubled young star of the Memphis Grizzlies, was suspended 8 games without pay for conduct detrimental to the league. He has already voluntarily stepped away from 6 games, but it'll 2 more for the suspension. Morant is a very troubled young man. He was seen waving a gun in a gentleman's club or bar and has been seen with guns in multiple instances. And we all know what happens when people play with guns. The Daily Compliance News is a production of the Compliance Podcast Network and a proud member of C-Suite Radio. Thanks so much for listening. I hope you'll join me again tomorrow.